Back when gas was cheap and chrome ruled the streets, the 70s gave us motorcycles that defined cool. These machines weren't built for comfort. They were made to go fast, look sharp, and make a statement. Today, we're rolling back the years and counting down 13 of the fastest bikes of the 1970s. Number 13. BMW R90S. Smooth, sophisticated, and deceptively quick, the R90S was BMW's bold answer to the growing demand for high-performance motorcycles in the mid-1970s. Built for long-distance speed and refined riding, this bike came with an 898 cubic centimeter boxer twin engine that delivered 67 horsepower and 56 pound-feet of torque. That level of smooth power delivery pushed the R90S to a top speed of 124 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest production bikes of its era. Unlike its competitors, this machine was more than just a straight-line bruiser. It offered a unique blend of balance, comfort, and precision handling that made it a favorite among sport touring enthusiasts. BMW's iconic Daytona orange paint scheme gave the R90S an unmistakable presence on the road, and its elegant lines helped cement its legacy as a gentleman's racer. Equipped with dual front disc brakes and a well-tuned suspension, it handled tight corners with grace, while maintaining high-speed stability on long highways. The ergonomic riding position, combined with the reliability of the air-cooled engine, made it an ideal choice for riders who craved both comfort and speed. This was not a bike built for flash, it was built for performance and endurance, and it did both exceptionally well. Originally priced at around $3,700, the R90S quickly became a status symbol for serious riders. Today, well-preserved examples regularly fetch over $20,000 in the collector market, a testament to its enduring appeal. Now let's go from German precision to a bike that brought stealth, power, and sport bike styling together in one unforgettable machine. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the ride so far, go ahead and like and subscribe. Number 12. Kawasaki Z1R. In 1978, Kawasaki broke new ground with a motorcycle that looked like it came straight from the next decade. The Z1R was a radical departure from the company's earlier models, trading chrome and curves for sharp lines and stealth. But under that angular bodywork was a serious engine, a 1,015 cubic centimeter inline-4 that churned out 90 horsepower and 62 pound-feet of torque. With that kind of muscle, it clocked a top speed of 137 miles per hour and sprinted from 0 to 60 in just under 4 seconds. This wasn't just a straight-line rocket. It was one of the first bikes to hint at what we now call a sport bike. The Z1R featured cast alloy wheels and a factory-fitted aerodynamic fairing, helping it slice through the wind and stay composed at high speeds. The riding position leaned the rider slightly forward, allowing for better control without sacrificing comfort. Adjustable rear suspension and dual front disc brakes rounded out a package that handled as well as it accelerated. But perhaps the most striking thing about the Z1R was its look. Drenched in a deep, dark paint scheme and stripped of unnecessary bright work, it had a modern, almost menacing stance that set it apart from its chrome-heavy rivals. It was futuristic without being flashy, a motorcycle that made a statement before it even started. Originally sold for just under $4,000, the Z1R quickly gained a cult following. Today, well-preserved models easily bring in over $20,000 at vintage auctions. Now let's leave behind Kawasaki's Dark Knight and head straight into the thunderous streets of Italy for a machine that roared with passion and precision. Number 11. Ducati 900 SS. Ducati delivered one of the most technically advanced motorcycles of the decade with the 900 SS in 1977. This Italian speed machine was built for performance on the road and the racetrack. At its core was an 864 cubic centimeter L twin engine that produced an impressive 80 horsepower and 57 pound-feet of torque. That combination of raw force and refined control sent the Ducati to a top speed of 135 miles per hour, placing it squarely among the fastest motorcycles of the 1970s. What truly set this bike apart was its revolutionary desmodromic valve system. Rather than relying on springs to close the valves, Ducati's design mechanically controlled them, allowing for higher engine speeds without valve float. The result was razor-sharp throttle response, unmatched precision, and a sound that echoed pure race heritage. The Desmo system wasn't just innovation for innovation's sake, it made this bike scream with purpose. The lightweight frame gave riders a tight, aggressive feel while navigating winding roads, and the handling was as precise as any European sport bike of the era. It combined agility with high-speed composure, giving riders confidence at every turn. Its unmistakable styling, from the narrow fairing to the classic Italian lines, made it as much a piece of art as it was a performance machine. When new, the Ducati 900 SS was priced around $3,500, a premium ride for serious enthusiasts. Today, collectors easily pay over $30,000 for well-preserved examples. It was fast, fierce, and focused, and remains a symbol of Ducati's racing spirit and engineering dominance. If you thought this Italian was impressive, the next machine on our list brought pure chaos to the streets and earned one of the most feared nicknames in motorcycle history. Number 10. Kawasaki H2750 Mach 4. In 1973, Kawasaki released a motorcycle so wild, so aggressive, and so unpredictable that it became known by a name that still sends shivers down the spines of riders: the Widowmaker. The H2 Mach 750 was not for the faint of heart. Beneath its aggressive tank and narrow seat sat a 748 cubic centimeter two-stroke triple engine that produced 74 horsepower and 57 pound-feet of torque. That might not sound earth-shattering today, but in its time, it made the H2 one of the fastest accelerating motorcycles in the world. With a top speed of 120 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 time of just 4 seconds, this Kawasaki could embarrass just about anything on the road. But it wasn't the speed that made riders respect it. It was the way that speed arrived. The narrow power band hit like a freight train, surging forward with such intensity that even experienced riders struggled to keep it in check. One wrong move in the throttle or clutch, and the H2 would lurch violently forward or snap sideways in an instant. Handling was raw and unpredictable, especially at high speeds, but that only added to the bike's legend. It wasn't about comfort or smoothness, it was about adrenaline. It was about hearing that distinctive two-stroke scream and knowing you were sitting on something truly wild. Originally priced under $2,000, the H2 quickly developed a cult following. Today, clean examples often sell for more than $30,000, celebrated as a piece of high-octane history. It was fast, it was loud, and it was dangerous. But while the H2 was pure madness, the next bike on the list delivered precision power in silence and proved you didn't have to scream to be deadly fast. Number 9. Yamaha XS11. In the year 1979, Yamaha introduced a motorcycle that would dominate the performance charts and redefine Japanese muscle on two wheels. The XS11 was the fastest production motorcycle of its time, built not only for speed but also for power, comfort, and unmatched durability. At its heart sat an 1101 cubic centimeter inline 4 engine that produced 95 horsepower and 66 pound-feet of torque. These numbers translated into a top speed of 135 miles per hour and acceleration from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. What made the XS11 stand out wasn't just its brute force, it was the way it delivered that power. The shaft drive system offered a smooth, low-maintenance ride that felt refined, even at high speeds. Its monoshock rear suspension added stability and agility, allowing the rider to command the road with confidence. Weighing in at over 670 pounds, it was a heavyweight, but its advanced engineering kept it responsive and balanced. The air-cooled engine and sturdy chassis were built for the long haul. Many owners reported logging more than 70,000 miles with regular maintenance, proving the XS11's reputation for bulletproof reliability. From city cruising to highway domination, this bike earned respect for being versatile, comfortable, and always ready to roar. Back when it first hit showrooms, the XS11 carried a price tag just under $3,500, making it an excellent value for the performance it delivered. Today, collectors and vintage enthusiasts still chase clean examples, which can sell for over $10,000. Next up, we're heading from Japanese horsepower to a sleek Italian machine that blended artistic design with real racing DNA. Number 8. Moto Guzzi 7 Sport. The year was 1971, and Italy's Moto Guzzi introduced a motorcycle that would forever change the cafe racer scene. The V7 Sport was a masterpiece of engineering and style, combining elegance with performance in a way few bikes ever had. At its core was a 748 cubic centimeter transverse V twin engine that produced 52 horsepower and 52 pound-feet of torque. With a top speed of 120 miles per hour, it was fast enough to challenge the best while offering precision and control that riders still talk about today. Moto Guzzi focused on more than just engine numbers. The V7 Sport was all about balance and agility. The frame was designed for tight handling, and the low-slung fuel tank, sculpted seat, and smart weight distribution allowed riders to carve through corners with grace. Every part of the bike was engineered with intention, from its cooling system to its minimalist controls. It was light, nimble, and it rode like a dream. The bike's styling became iconic almost instantly. With its angular lines, polished metal accents, and classic Italian paintwork, the V7 Sport looked just as good parked outside a cafe as it did blasting down a mountain road. But this wasn't just a beauty queen, it was built to last. Riders routinely got 50,000 miles or more out of its air-cooled engine with standard maintenance, proving that good looks and reliability could go hand in hand. Priced around $2,500 when new, the V7 Sport was considered a premium ride. Today, a well-maintained model can command values upward of $20,000 among collectors. And we're not leaving Italy just yet. The next bike on the list cranked things up with a triple-cylinder roar and a design that was impossible to ignore. Number 7. Triumph X75 Hurricane. Styled in America, built in Britain, and faster than it looked, the X75 Hurricane was one of the boldest motorcycles to ever come out of the 1970s. Released in the year 1973, this bike was powered by a 741 cubic centimeter triple engine that delivered 58 horsepower and 49 pound-feet of torque. With that kind of output, it could reach a top speed of 115 miles per hour and launch from 0 to 60 in just 5 seconds flat. The Hurricane wasn't just fast, it was fearless in design. The legendary American designer Craig Vetter gave the bike its unmistakable look, with a sweeping fuel tank, unique 3-pipe exhaust, and a deep orange paint job that turned heads wherever it went. The styling was bold, aggressive, and entirely unlike anything else on the market at the time. While British motorcycles were typically reserved and functional, the Hurricane came in loud, both visually and sonically. Riders praised its smooth throttle response and surprisingly agile handling. The triple-cylinder engine gave it a distinct sound and a mid-range power band that was perfect for spirited street riding. Even though it wasn't produced in large numbers, only around 1,200 units were ever built, it left an outsized mark on motorcycle culture. That rarity made it an instant collectible. When it first rolled into showrooms, it was priced at just under $3,000. But today, collectors pay more than $75,000 for well-maintained models, especially those that still bear their original bodywork and finish. And now we move on to a beast that not only dominated the street but also lit up the big screen. The next machine has muscle, speed, and cinematic attitude written all over it. Number 6. Kawasaki KZ1000. This bike was a muscle machine in every sense of the word, designed to dominate both drag strips and city streets. Under the tank was a 1,015 cubic centimeter inline 4 engine that produced 83 horsepower and 62 pound-feet of torque. That setup rocketed the bike to a top speed of 125 miles per hour, and it hit 0 to 60 in an incredible 2.9 seconds. It wasn't just quick off the line, it was built with performance in mind from top to bottom. The KZ1000 featured a double overhead camshaft engine, allowing it to breathe more freely and respond instantly to throttle inputs. Riders appreciated its stability at speed and its confident handling through corners. It had the muscle to race, but the finesse to carve up twisty roads with ease. The bike's reputation exploded when it starred in the 1981 cult classic Mad Max, albeit in the form of the police-modified KZ1000P model. Its raw, no-nonsense design and explosive acceleration gave it a gritty on-screen presence that perfectly matched the lawless landscape of the movie. This exposure helped elevate its status from fast motorcycle to pop culture legend. Back in the day, this machine sold for around $3,700. Now, well-kept examples can fetch over $15,000 in the collector market. It remains one of the most iconic motorcycles Kawasaki ever built. A true muscle bike that could go toe-to-toe with anything on the road. Now that we've covered pure aggression on two wheels, let's turn the throttle toward a six-cylinder monster that changed the game with raw power and futuristic engineering. Number 5. Kawasaki KZ1300. This machine didn't just push the limits of performance, it shattered them back in the days. At its core was an inline six-cylinder engine with a displacement of 1,286 cubic centimeters. It delivered an astonishing 120 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque. That kind of power propelled this heavyweight to a top speed of 140 miles per hour, placing it firmly among the fastest bikes of its time. What made the KZ1300 truly remarkable was not just its output, but how refined it felt while delivering it. Kawasaki equipped the bike with a water-cooled system to maintain optimal engine temperature even under extreme conditions. The shaft drive replaced the traditional chain, offering smoother power delivery and less maintenance, a feature touring riders quickly grew to appreciate. Despite weighing over 670 pounds, this machine handled with surprising composure thanks to its rigid frame and advanced suspension setup. The riding experience was described as both thrilling and serene. Whether you were ripping down a highway or cruising through mountain passes, the KZ1300 delivered consistent, silky smooth performance. Its 6-into-2 exhaust system gave it a deep, commanding rumble that made it stand out even when idling at a stoplight. At launch, this engineering marvel was priced around $4,500. Today, well-preserved examples regularly fetch over $15,000, thanks to its reputation for reliability and unique place in motorcycle history. It remains a favorite among collectors who appreciate muscle, innovation, and that unmistakable Kawasaki spirit. Up next, we stay with the inline six-cylinder theme, but this time it's Honda's turn to show off its mechanical masterpiece with one of the most iconic sport bikes of the era. Number 4. Honda CBX1000. At a time when 4 cylinders were considered extreme, Honda raised the bar with a 6-cylinder marvel that quickly became a symbol of engineering excellence. This groundbreaking machine housed a 1,047 cubic centimeter inline 6-cylinder engine capable of producing 105 horsepower and 52 pound-feet of torque. The top speed? A jaw-dropping 135 miles per hour. But it wasn't just about raw performance. Honda built the CBX1000 to be smooth, refined, and shockingly easy to handle. Despite its wide engine profile, the bike's weight distribution and advanced chassis design made cornering and high-speed cruising feel effortless. The double overhead camshaft layout allowed the engine to rev freely, delivering power evenly across the throttle. From 0 to 60, it took just over 4 seconds, making it one of the quickest machines of its time. The sound alone was enough to turn heads. Its 6 individual exhaust headers produced a harmonious roar that earned it the nickname, a symphony on 2 wheels. Riders loved the way it looked too, sleek, muscular, and futuristic. Every detail of the CBX1000 was tuned for style and function, from its air-cooled fins to the sculpted tank and instrumentation. Originally priced at about $4,000, the CBX1000 quickly developed a loyal following. Today, pristine examples are highly valued by collectors, often going for more than $20,000. It wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a statement of what was possible when engineering and passion met on the open road. Now let's rewind a few years and revisit the superbike that started a revolution, proving performance didn't have to come with a luxury price tag. Number 3. Honda CB750F Super Sport. Back in 1976, Honda changed the game with the CB750F Super Sport, a motorcycle that brought serious performance to everyday riders at a price they could actually afford. While it might not have been the most powerful machine on the block, it delivered a perfect balance of reliability, style, and speed that made it a staple in garages across America. Under the tank, this bike came with a 736 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine. It pushed out an impressive 58 horsepower and delivered 44 pound-feet of torque. That was enough muscle to hit a top speed of 115 miles per hour and rocket from 0 to 60 in just about 6 seconds. And that performance didn't come at the expense of daily comfort. The Super Sport earned its name with updated handlebars, more aggressive foot peg placement, and a streamlined design that made it feel lighter and sharper than the standard CB750. What really set this bike apart, though, was how effortlessly it brought superbike DNA into the mainstream. It didn't matter if you were carving through canyons or commuting to work, the CB750F handled it all. Honda's precision engineering meant you could count on that inline-4 to keep running strong for tens of thousands of miles with just basic upkeep. Riders loved its smooth throttle response, minimal vibration, and clean styling. With a price tag of under $3,000 back in its day, the Super Sport made serious riding accessible. Today, well-kept examples can fetch well over $20,000, especially those with factory paint and matching numbers. It's no surprise this Honda earned its place as one of the most iconic motorcycles of the 1970s. But if you were looking for raw American iron, the next bike on this list brought thunder, grit, and an unmistakable roar down every open highway. Number 2. Harley Davidson XLH Sportster 1000. If any bike captured the outlaw spirit of the 1970s, it was the Harley Davidson XLH Sportster 1000. This machine didn't need to be the fastest on paper, it was all about attitude, presence, and that unmistakable Harley rumble that echoed through city streets and back roads alike. This was the ride of the rebels, the misfits, and the true believers in freedom on two wheels. At the heart of the Sportster sat a 998 cubic centimeter Ironhead V twin engine, which cranked out 60 pound-feet of torque. While horsepower figures were modest compared to some Japanese rivals, the torquey heavy delivery gave it the punch riders loved. It reached a top speed of 110 miles per hour and took between 5 and 7 seconds to hit 60. But the real appeal wasn't in racing numbers, it was in the feel of that Ironhead pulsing beneath you. This bike had soul. From its long, low stance to its peanut tank and chopped fenders, every part of the Sportster screamed freedom. Riders fell for its deep, growling exhaust note and the unmistakable silhouette that made it stand out from the crowd. Whether it was rolling up to a bar or cruising across state lines, this bike made a statement. Dealerships back then priced it around $2,500, and over the years, demand never really dropped. Today, a clean original Sportster from 1972 can easily pull in over $20,000. Especially with matching numbers and low miles. It's not just a motorcycle, it's a piece of American history that still turns heads and stirs hearts. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you see the next bike on the list. It's a rare Italian rocket that blended artistry and adrenaline like nothing else from the decade. Number 1. Moto Guzzi Le Mans 850. Some motorcycles are fast, some are stylish, and a rare few manage to be both. But the Le Mans 850 did not just balance speed with style, it dominated the category. This bike was the crown jewel of late 1970s Italian engineering, crafted with a racer's mindset and a street rider's soul. Nicknamed the Italian Bullet, this machine was designed for performance from every angle. Starting with its 1144 cubic centimeter V-twin engine, it produced an impressive 80 horsepower, and delivered a hard-hitting 56 pound-feet of torque, giving it the muscle to push up to a top speed of 130 miles per hour. But the numbers alone do not tell the whole story. The Le Mans 850 had a unique power delivery that felt raw and responsive without ever being out of control. Riders loved the way this bike pulled hard in every gear, especially when cruising along open roads. The aerodynamic half-fairing was not just for looks, it gave the bike a wind-cutting edge that made high-speed touring feel stable and focused. Combined with Moto Guzzi's signature shaft drive system, the Le Mans offered smooth power transfer with almost no maintenance, making it ideal for riders who wanted speed without constant wrenching. What truly set the Le Mans apart was its visual impact. With its low-slung stance, bold paint schemes, and sculpted tank, it looked fast even standing still. The angular design lines and racing seat screamed cafe racer, while the hand-finished Italian details made every ride feel like an event. Collectors today hunt for this bike not only because of its performance pedigree, but because it has become an icon, an embodiment of what made 1971 motorcycles so unforgettable. From racetracks in Europe to highways in America, this was the bike that made people turn their heads and dream big. And for vintage motorcycle lovers, it still represents the perfect combination of heritage, horsepower, and pure exhilaration. That wraps up our countdown of the fastest motorcycles from the wild and unforgettable 1970s. Got a favorite? Or did we miss a two-wheeled legend you think deserved a spot? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the ride, hit that subscribe button for more videos.